Yes, we are live, sir.
We welcome you to the beautiful campus of East Point. We at East Point Group of Institutions offer limitless opportunities, imparting quality technical education and helping students to develop precocious aptitude and equip necessary skills for a successful professional career. Our training and placement cell guide and encourage students through every step until placed in reputed companies. East Point Group of Institutions, building skills from the last 3 decades. And helping students to develop precocious.
Yes. I think I'm audible. Yes. Good morning and welcome to one and everyone present here for today's masterclass webinar on substance abuse and early intervention. Signing in, Professor Cheryl Albert Anthony, it's my pleasure to invite you for the session and thank you for taking time out and being here. As we begin, we remember our founder chairman, Dr. S.M. Venkatpati sir. I welcome our honorable chairperson, Srimati Ramadevi Venkatpati, madam. I welcome our esteemed CEOs, Shri Pramod Gowda sir and Shri Rajiv Gowda sir. I welcome our respected secretary, Shri Peter Francis sir in absentia. I also welcome our illustrious Executive Director, Dr. S.R. Shankpal sir, the erudite guest speaker and resource person, Dr. Thomas Scaria sir, cherished Principal, Dr. T.K. Satish sir, treasured Vice Principal, Dr. G.S. Yogesh sir, adorned Dean, Student Affairs, Dr. Maruti G sir, distinguished principals of all the colleges of East Point Group of Institutions, head of the institutions, head of the departments, colleagues, and my dear students. At this hour, I request our Vice Principal, Dr. G.S. Yogesh sir, to address the attendees.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
It's an honor and privilege to speak on this occasion. Respected Dr. Thomas, sir, I heartily welcome you on this occasion. Yeah. My dear student community friends, it's a great honor and privilege to speak on this occasion. Dear students, prevention is better than cure always. In this regard, we have taken this particular initiation. I think our resource person will speak more on this particular topic. See to it that you kindly utilize this talk and adapt this in your life. This is very important. Just listening and leave it does not work out. Kindly listen to sir. Whatever you do say, kindly adapt in your real life. With these few words, I wish you all the best for this webinar. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your presence. Thank you for your wonderful gesture of expressing your perspective and making our attendees acknowledge the importance of this webinar. You made a difference by addressing the session, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Dr. Yogesh.
Sir, let me introduce you, sir. It's a proud
Okay.
moment. It's a proud moment to introduce the guest speaker, Dr. Thomas Scaria. And it is no, it is wonderful to know his achievements. So Dr. Thomas Scaria was awarded doctorate in counseling and psychology in de-addiction and rehabilitation, MSW in medical and psychiatric social work. He is internationally certified addiction professional, sorry. He is a global trainer for UNODC and Colombo Plan. He is the director of Ecolink Institute of Wellbeing and ARCO India. He has over 30 years experience in addiction management field and journalism. He is the senior journalist working for Matters India and two US based news agencies, NCR and GSR. He was lauded for his accomplishment with Spandana Award by Indian Psychiatric Society and International Award as the Best Reporter of the Year 2000. He is an approved training provider for Colombo Plan Drug Advisory Committee. Welcome, sir. The time is all yours. Students, stay tuned. We will be running a live Q&A at the end of the webinar. So the time is yours.
Thank you, Cheryl, and thank you, Dr. Yogesh. It is a privilege for me to address East Point Institute. I believe it's a college of engineering as well as college of medical sciences also.
Yes, sir.
So, first of all, congratulations to you for organizing this program. Actually, like now we speak, we hear a lot about drugs, but not many colleges actually take up the steps to do some programs on this topic. Way back in 1991, when I was studying, I have actually taken up this course. Like now, I started a movement, students' movement, with by the name Link Anti-Addiction Action Group in our college. And then slowly, we have spread that message to different colleges. But in those days, it was only the starting stage, like when we just started our issues with the drug addiction in different colleges. So when you have a problem like that in our college, I don't think our students are aware of drugs and all. So don't give them curiosity by speaking about that and things like that. But I'm sure now the situation is changed. Now, when we go to the colleges, actually, we get a lot of information from the colleges because they are much more well informed than even us. So, anyway, I congratulate your institute, especially Cheryl Ma'am, for taking up this initiative for organizing this program for the students of your institute. And I'm sure there are a lot of students outside, not in this particular platform, just platform. Some of our team members are also joining, I suppose. I've seen Remya, the president of ARCO India, somewhere there. And also some of our team members are joining in the YouTube also for this particular session. Now we have been passing through the pandemic, all of us know. We have seen the pain of the people. We have seen a lot of sufferings around us. I understand that a lot of students in this campus, they have come from also Kerala, a one state which was very hard hit by the COVID-19. We have seen people dying. We have seen people becoming jobless and becoming bankrupt. But at the same time, with all these kinds of problems which are around us, we have also seen some big opportunities happening also along with this. Am I audible to you? Okay. The screen went off for some time. So two multi-million business opportunities which came up during the pandemic. One was internet. Almost all of us have already become addicted to that, because for everything we depend upon platforms like this YouTube channel, or Microsoft Teams, or Google Talk, or Zoom platform, and online education, online marketing, everything. Like, we may be able to go without eating and drinking for some time, but we cannot go without internet. That is one addiction this pandemic has created. Another scenario is about the drug scenario, like, no, the drug addiction or drug pushing. That is also another multi-million, multi-billion business which has actually flourished during this particular period. Cheryl, am I audible to you? Cheryl, or any of the students?
Sir, you're
Yes,
very
sir, you're audible.
Okay. Because sometimes no, it goes. Okay, fine.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
you're audible.
So that is a second multi-million business which was happening during the pandemic. If you look at some of the data, we can know. Like, we look at the paper, we listen to the TV, we hear a lot of people, a lot of drug seizures are happening. We hear that police catching MDMA here, cocaine there, or no, the opium products in some other places. So we hear a lot about drugs being seized these days, which also means that not they are being seized. There are also a lot of people getting attracted to that, especially young people. So that is the scenario where we are here today. We have organized this particular program because this is something which is targeting the youth. So let us listen, let us discuss about that. It is not the end of the webinar. You will be asking me some questions and I'm answering. Definitely, even in the middle of the webinar also, I might ask you some questions, but don't worry, you can use your chat box. If you can't talk to me directly, like, no issue, but I hope the chat box will be active somewhere. So is it active? Yeah, okay. So whenever we have some discussions, if I ask you some questions, whatever you want to tell me, you please use the chat box, okay? So let's begin the program today. I just want to show you one single slide first, and 1 second. Is it visible to you? Hello? It is.
Sir,
Okay, you're
it
watching
is.
something. It is. Okay. So I
Yes.
just want to show you one slide. Just look at this slide, read this, like, different things are there: drug abuse, drug use, feeling high, medical, a lot of things are there. Just go through it. I give you 1 minute. After that, I want you to use your chat box to tell me what you know about drugs till now. Like, no, like, whatever you know about drugs. Just one sentence by each one. Like, no, small sentence. Like, need not be a long sentence also. What do you understand by drugs or drug abuse or drug addiction, or any sort of the names which we can recall about drugs, or about no, like, the rehabilitation or whatever things. So let me just stop sharing this one and look into your chat box now. Anything which comes to your mind about drugs, you are free to write it down in the chat box. Where is the chat box, please? Something is happening. Yeah, it's not questions to me. It is like your understanding of the topic, drugs. So instead, you cannot talk to me now. So you just um, use the chat box and write. Yeah, someone has written about the misuse of drugs. Of course, there is a use of drugs and there are also misuse of drugs. So how do we? Okay, use your chat box. I think you are familiar with this now, because we are all addicted to the online platforms now by this time. Anything coming? Cheryl, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm
Ah,
very much here.
okay. You can ask your students to, if they are afraid of me, you can tell them to also use the chat
Yes,
platform. Whatever comes to their mind about the drugs. Somebody have written misuse of drugs. So there is also a use of drugs. Drugs are
Yes.
something which changes person's physical and mental state. Oh, great. It's such a big definition, which makes some changes into our mind and body. Great.
There
Angel
is
saying
a
people
question.
using to get rid from stress. Okay. Okay. Some people are stressful and so they use drugs to get out of their stress. Chemical which people use to give them pleasure. Okay. To get a pleasant experience. So they go for drugs. Okay. Good. You have to be very fast, children.
So this is
Drug
from
abuse,
Santosh Bhattarai.
Santosh,
Drug abuse.
Bhattarai,
Yes.
yes. Drug
Yes.
abuse is taking drugs in wrong quality in wrong time. Oh, okay, okay. There are also some quantity issues. Sometimes there are overdose happening. People take too much of drugs at a time because they have too much of money and they die also. You know, in United States, at least 5 lakh people die each year because of the overdose. It's such a educated place, such a developed country, but even there, lots of people die out of overdose. So that is what our Batari is saying. Chetan Rao chemical which people use to give them pleasure. Yeah, I have seen that already. Pleasure seeking. What else?
There is another question, sir.
Mhm. Don't ask me any questions. Answer to my question. No? Yeah. Substances used for medical purposes. Great, great, good understanding. So drugs, when we say drugs, we don't need to say a negative image about that. Sometimes drugs are also used for medicinal purposes. Very good understanding. Angel, okay, good, thank you. So many of your students don't know much about drugs. Very good, huh? Okay. Excessive use of psychoactive drugs such as alcohol, pain medications, or illegal drugs. It can lead to physical, social, and emotional harm. Very good, Rahul. Congratulations. You know a lot about that. Jack Rose says then what is required dose? Okay, I'll tell you. Huh? So you want to try, huh? Jack, you want to try with the required dose? Okay. Next, who else? While taking drugs, any side effects are there? Any drugs have side effects. They have got withdrawal symptoms. They have got no, like once you take drugs, it makes some changes in your body and mind. That is called effects, like, no. So okay. Chetan Rao, it's a chemical which people use to give them, yeah, that is, I think we have seen that, a pleasant atmosphere. Okay. Out of Mangalore, who is it? Depending on a substance to make you feel better. Can't do without it. Oh, very good. There are a lot of things. It speaks about the addiction part of it. Once you get into it, it is very difficult to come out of that. No, that is what is called addiction. So very easy to get inside, but very difficult to come out. Very good. Yes, boy, out of Mangalore or whatever. I'm in Mangalore, okay, for your information. Okay. Hayden. Dress quantity matters, of course, can also be depending on the usual painkillers or legal drugs, example, medical drugs and things like that. Yeah, it depends upon. In small quantity, sometimes it works as a medicine, but in bigger quantities, it can go wrong also. Okay. Anything else? Anything else? What if the government legalizes drugs? So big questions are also coming up, and they themselves moderate them. Okay. Yeah, legalizing is something which we will speak about that after some time when we speak about that. Yes. Okay. Excessive use of psychoactive drugs such as alcohol, pain medications, or illegal drugs. It can lead to physical. I think we have read that Rahul's thing. It's a very good comment from them. Okay. School students, peer pressure prone to fall on this. Very good, Ravindra Kulala. Many, very often among the students, among the young people, peer pressure play a very important role. Very important role, because many people want to become part of a group, and in order to become part of the group, sometimes they have to accept the common culture of that group, and where peer pressure will definitely play an important role. Okay. Srinivas is saying use of illegal drugs or the use of prescription or over the counter drugs or alcohol for purposes other than those for what they meant to be. Okay, means other than for medical usage, anything no can become drug abuse. Thank you. Shall I stop here or you want to keep on? Anyway, it is nice, good pretest. Heroin. Hashida has something more to say about heroin. Heroin may cause to mental health, which cause chemicals. In fact, it affect the pressure, cause physical and mentally. It get additional humans and well advantages. Yeah, fine. Anyway, drugs have got both advantages and disadvantages. So that's what advantages means. When you use the drugs for a medical purpose, of course, it is advantageous. When you use it for your personal purpose, it becomes sometimes counterproductive also. Usage of drugs gives hallucinations, which helps the person from deviate from real world stress, like no. So they can run away from the reality with a little bit of a different colors and no perverted or different hallucinating atmosphere. That's why some people use, especially the party drugs, like no, when you go to the party, the ecstasy or mushrooms or MDMA, which of the rave parties and all, they use these kinds of hallucinogens and stimulants and things like that, and then they get into a different world altogether, no, running away from the reality. Lots of comments are coming. I ask Cheryl to keep all these, okay, don't lose. I mean, you need to keep it saved somewhere. I hope it will be saved also. Anyway, good. Thank you. Back to my slide, please. Okay. Yes, I'm happy that you have come out with a lot of idea about drugs as a medicine. It's for health. It is also overdose can create problem. It can lead to addiction and rehab and things like that. A lot of things have come from you, which shows that you have information about this. We have already spoken about this slide. Why we discuss about drugs today to you? You all have come there to study about engineering. You have come to study about medicines and various disciplines, like no, that is your purpose. But actually, why should you also study about drugs? Because just look at these two graphics which I have presented here, which is taken from a uh, um, National Crime Records Bureau recently, like I mean, it is up to 2020 end December. Just see the graph, like no, from the growth of substance abuse or substance related issues among the youth, which is happening. It is growing very well, very steadfast. Like maybe we can say during the last 2 years, almost the drug menace have become double. And who are they targeting? That is where the concern, like no, it is the young ones they are catching. Anywhere you today morning, I was listening to a news from Cochin. There were a group of young people were caught with MDMA there, and they are very young children, 20, 21, like that. And they were also users, and they are not just pushers, they are also users. That is something which you should also understand. Every drug peddler, you just get into their life, you will see they are also drug users, and the real kings will remain somewhere else. They will not uh, come to the open. They will not be caught also, but ultimately people who have been caught are the users themselves. That's what all these stories tell us. And look at also the drugs which are normally being used. Opioids is the number one position, about 40 lakh people. They say, like in India, I mean, this is all Indian thing. Inhalants, alcohol is also not bad. Sedatives, cannabis, hallucinogens, cocaine, and things like cocaine is very expensive drug, and that's why we have not many people in India using that. So, a few things which you need to know why we have to be careful about this particular topic. Like drugs seized in 2020 itself, it is almost double of what was being caught from the previous years. So much of drugs flow is happening last 2 years, especially during the pandemic time, especially when our liquor shops were closed. The flow of the liquor was not there, and that was the time mostly the drugs have started entering into the market in a very big way. So a few things which you should know also, like our own geographical position, the position of India. You know, our neighboring countries, like we are caught between two major drug trafficking routes. One is Golden Crescent, other one is Golden Triangle. Golden Crescent is our neighboring countries, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Iran. You know, the number one country in the world which produce almost 90% of opium is Afghanistan. I work there also. I would be able to share my experience with that also later. So 90% of the opium related products are coming from Afghanistan. Where is it going? And it is mostly like, it is coming to India via Pakistan or even through other areas. I'll tell you the reason why it is coming through India. And then Golden Triangle, the Burma or Myanmar, earlier it's called Burma, and Thailand and Laos. They were once upon a time, they were the biggest producers of cannabis and then opium products also. Now it is taken over by the Afghanistan. And now I don't think Thailand and Myanmar and Laos and all actually being a very big threat for us. But Golden Crescent is a threat for us. Now the second point, the loopholes in NDPS Act. You know what is NDPS Act? Any of you know? Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act. Actually, it is an act in India which deals with all the crimes related to drug pushing, drug trade, drug trafficking, and things like that. So anything related to that is actually being done under NDPS Act. What happens is when our neighboring countries, anywhere in any of the Arabic countries, Gulf countries, if you are caught with drugs, you are finished. And the law are very stringent, very strong there. You cannot escape. We have seen many stories of people carrying some drugs from here to Saudi or any of this, Dubai or Bahrain or something, without knowing what it is in the form of medicines and all, but they are being caught there and very, very difficult to come out. Very often there are capital punishments also. Whereas in India, we have a lot of loopholes. We hear every day about drugs being caught in different places, but we don't hear much about they are being convicted. A lot of people escape after that. Like, no, there are no proof, no witnesses, nobody want to get into that. So somehow our Indian judiciary system also a little bit slow and people can easily get out of it. So there are a lot of loopholes in the NDPS Act. And then the drug trade mechanism itself. Like as I have already told you, here the user is the pusher. The things remain safe somewhere else. So ultimately, you have nothing to lose. You are already addicted and you have no hope. You don't want to go for your treatment and you have finished. You have discontinued your studies. You have failed everywhere. You have no money. So what is the problem? Even if you are being caught by the police, at least you will get some free food in the jail. So such kinds of people are something like suicide squads, like, no. So they have nothing to lose. So they are the people who are involved also in ultimately in selling the drugs to a different person. Then the strategy of drug trade, you should understand. You must have heard about multi-level marketing strategy. Each one catch two or three. It's not each one catch one. If you each one catch one, your income is limited. They now say each one catch three. So when you become addicted, you don't have money to continue with your dress. So your friend will call you and tell you, you bring another two or three people, will give you free. So many people get into drugs trafficking because they have no money to continue in their drug use behavior. So that's why they get into that. And beware of this particular strategy, my dear children. Everywhere they will compel you. They will try to give all kind of peer pressure to make you into their group. Like, no, they will give you acceptance. They will give you all lot of things. They will give you the first dose also free. And then what happened is that once you are into it, same again, you would be compelled to do this marketing strategy. And nowadays, everyone think it is somebody's problem. As long as it becomes our problem, we are not awakened. So that is another issue with Indians, no India. and even anybody anywhere. Like unless and until it comes and knock at our door, we don't wake up. That is another problem. Now then, there are a lot of sensationalizing things. Now when a particular port in India actually, when a truckload of like full this one a ship full of trucks have passed through, and it didn't make a lot of headlines in our this one news medium. What they have made it is immediately their attention was shifted to Arif Khan, who was caught with 5 or 6 grams of some drugs in some rave party in a boat, luxury boat, things like that, and the whole media was after them. And that particular time, how many ships must have come? Who knows? So this is how the mechanism work in our system. So we need to definitely be alerted. So there is no point in we not talking about drugs. Speak about drugs, understand about drugs, and be responsible for yourself. So that is the message actually I want to give you also. Now, of course, if I ask you what are the different commonly abused substances, I'm sure you are going to tell all these names. Tobacco is one of the number one drugs, maximum in use. Alcohol is the number two. Like we have plenty of alcohol all around, anywhere, uh, which is also classified as a drug. We have cannabis, heroin, cocaine, and we have medically used prescription drugs. You are aware of that. That's why in your chat box I could hear about these things. So these are some of the very commonly abused substances which we can see in our thing. Look at this thing. So most of these drugs come from the natural sources. Okay. So nicotine comes from tobacco. Nicotine is the addictive substance in the. So time to time, I have to look at you also to make sure you are there. Huh? So okay. Anyway, fine, good. So tobacco or like the nicotine is a addictive substance in tobacco, and then that nicotine comes from tobacco. Caffeine is another stimulant drug. Coffee, it comes from coffee, and then we have cannabis. Cannabis is coming from which plant? You can write it in a chat box also, no problem. Cannabis is coming from cannabis plants, no? Ganja plants, or we can say hashish, ganja, and all these are same family like. And poppy, or whatever, opium, heroin, brown sugar, all these things are coming from which plant? If anybody want to know the answer, you can write also. Opium is coming from which plant? Vida. No. I think that was the answer for cannabis. Okay, Rakshita. Yes. Opium comes from poppy plants. By mistake, I said that first itself. Okay, it's from poppy plants. Poppy plants are opium poppy. Aidari, very good. Yeah, Henry. So they are cultivated in very big plots in Afghanistan. I have seen myself. I was there for 2 years as part of a UN mission. I have seen the plantations, like how they take it. That's the only crop, the income for Afghanistan. They have to somehow push it, sell it, and get money out of it. Otherwise, they won't survive. So poppy plants are cultivated, and from there, opium comes. From opium, they make heroin. And heroin, they make what you call brown sugar in India. They mix heroin with a lot of other chemicals, like maybe rat poison or so many things, like, battery shells and things like that. They mix it, make 1 kg into 100 kg, and they sell it. So it becomes Indian, like, you can buy it. So that is how it is. And then what are the other drugs? Alcohol comes from where? Alcohol is made how? Anybody want to write that? Nobody knows. They only know it is available in shops, bars, wine shops, isn't it? Very innocent children you have, huh? Fermentation, yeast. Okay, good. And fruits also, okay? Yeah, it is from vegetables and fruits and things like that. No, they ferment it, they put it together, and then somehow alcohol is created. That is how the alcohol is made also. Okay. And then we have medicines. A lot of medicines also have got their root from the nature. Okay, like, and then they mix it, in laboratories, make it synthetic and make different drugs based on the requirement of the medical issue. So what I mean to say is most of these drugs also have got roots from the nature. Means people had been using psychoactive substances, mind altering substances from the time immemorial. Like no, it was part of the a lot of cultures, like people were using that. And then now the difference is what happened is what they were using for religious purposes or cultural purposes, now it becomes a big sort of a health issue for the entire world. So can you see the slides now? Drugs or psychoactive substances, it had been once upon a time part of the human culture, but now it has become a big human tragedy, like we can say. Substance use disorder has become a threat to the humanity. You see that two, three pictures here. The first picture, a sannyasi using some sort of a hashish or cannabis or something to get consciousness, like to get spiritual enlightenment. I'm not misguiding you. Some people were using like that. See another picture of the mushrooms, like those structures which was excavated from Egyptian sort of a centuries and centuries ago, like 5,000 years ago. These mushrooms were depicted like that. Means people were using that kind of substances that time also, ecstasy and all like that. And now the purpose is changed, like people are using for entertainment and they get addicted to that and things like that. In 2021, June 26, June 26 is International Day Against Drug Abuse and Trafficking. So that day, every year they come out with a survey report. So according to the last UNODC report, there are 275 million people using drugs like worldwide. Out of that, around 36 million people, they have got the substance use disorder, means addiction, chemical dependency to that. 36 million is not a joke. And you should also understand this particular UNODC report, they don't cover alcohol and they don't cover tobacco also. And these are the two biggest, the widely used drugs in the world. If you add that also into this particular report, then it becomes a huge figure anyway. So, so why I say all these things is just to give you a sort of a overview of what we are talking today. It is a multi-billion sort of a business. So when people are doing that business, they will also be using all type of marketing strategy to attract people to their fold. And that's why one of the strategy they are using is that multi-level marketing strategy. Catch one, give him free drug, make him addicted, and use him as a peddler or as a pusher. So that is a strategy which is followed worldwide. Like no, so the user is used as a peddler also. Means the one who is controlling the market who will remain very safe. So we all get fooled on the process. Okay. Now a few terms I want to discuss with you. What do you understand by drug use? Drug use, some of you can write it. Somebody have already given that answer also that time. Drug use is something when we are using a particular drug for a medicinal purpose or for something, for our health, for prevention of health problems or for maintenance of a health issue. With the doctor's prescription, we can call it intake of drugs for a particular medical purposes. We can call it drug use. Drug abuse is if the same drugs, if you are actually using it a prolonged period of time without the prescription of a doctor, we can call it drug abuse. Okay, means if suppose a doctor prescribed a sleeping pill for you for a week because you have some issues, you have anxiety, depression, and things like that. They give you sleeping pill, and you sleep nicely, and then you know what is this pill, you know where it is available, you know that person who is selling it, you go there without a prescription and buy it, and you continue to take it, and that is called drug abuse. We are abusing that drug without a prescription, and then over the period of time, what happens? Abuse will take you to addiction. So you cannot get sleep at all without that particular substance. So if you want to sleep, you have to take it. If you don't take it, you cannot sleep. Means you are already addicted to that. Your normal functionings will not happen without the presence of, this, drugs. So that is called use, abuse, and addiction. So Rakshita says chemical help humans take for yeah, that's the thing. Yes, for temporary benefit, like certain things, sometimes people will take, but over a period of time, the temporary temperance will not remain. So it get into slip into abuse, and then over a period of time, it will turn into addiction also. Okay, next slide. Did you understand this concept? Use, abuse, and addiction. Now another terms like legal drugs, illegal drugs, and then what happens when we take legal or illegal drugs? Okay, can you give me some examples of legal drugs? Use your chat box. Okay, some of the legal drugs. Alcohol, very good. I think Henry is well informed. Huh? Very nice. Okay, alcohol is a legal drug. Why do we call it a legal drug? Because they are available in the legal market, in the open market, and government also get a revenue out of that. There is a tax being levied from the people. In Karnataka, in Kerala, they take almost 100-200% as tax. Okay, so a big revenue, like many governments are surviving because of this tax from the legal drugs. So they try to know. They don't speak much about that. Let it happen because it brings a lot of revenue to the government. So alcohol, somebody said caffeine. Caffeine is also like nicotine is another huge market. Tobacco companies, you must have seen like people they are sponsoring World Cup and things like that. Tobacco company, small. When we go to BD companies like so they are able to such a big volume of tobacco they can control anything. And medicine also definitely. Who says Ravindra? No, medicines also legal drugs because they are legally available. They are there in medical shops. Cigarettes are available. They are also legal. And of course, what is this? Poppy and all is not legal. Huh? Kusumbar Badu. Yes. Painkillers, as long as it kills your pain and it is prescribed by the doctor, it is a legal drug. Okay, okay. Coffee is also legal, man. No worry, no worry. Okay. Now, tell me some names of the illegal drugs. Let me know if you know some drugs. No problem, no, Cheryl. If they tell the names. Okay. Give
Yes,
me
sir,
some
please.
names of the illegal drugs. Okay, cocaine. Yes. Heroin. Okay.
Smack.
Smack. Okay. IDS. What is IDS? ISD.
ISD.
Not ideas. Okay, okay. LSD. Okay, okay. It is from ideas, ISD, and LSD. Okay, good, 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 good. Haidari, yes, Henry. Okay. Then what else? Tell some more names. Let me know if you know. Brown sugar. Okay. Somebody said coke also. It is also a
Cough
mind-altering
syrup
substance.
used as somebody has typed in as cough syrup used as drugs.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Definitely. Cup syrups also. Snake bite. Okay. Okay. Marijuana, okay, it is also illegal, but in certain countries it is made legal. Good that whoever have written that. No, morphine is, yeah, it used to be a legal drug. It was used as a painkiller in the, the operation theater and all. No, they were using that. Morphine comes from also opium. Okay, opium products are all basically pain relieving substances. Okay. Cup syrups, yes. Bhavani, good. Meenakshi says alcohol. is made up of fruit. Yeah. It is a previous answer. Okay. Huh? What else? What else? Heroin, marijuana, Portugal legalized. Yeah. Portugal, even in some states in US also they have legalized marijuana, but now they are rethinking about they have to come back from that or not. Like no, because that legalizing did not help much. Okay, MDMA, yes, okay. MDMA is very widely being used nowadays. It is called also party drugs, like no rave parties, and no like people are get attracted to that because from the stress. Somebody had given that particular definition also some time back. When you have stress, so this MDMA sort of drugs will take away your stress and give you a hallucinating sort of a situation. Like no, you are able to see colors, you are able to dance, you are able to sing, and things like that. Fine, good. So, not bad, Cheryl. Your students know about drugs. So, don't blame me that I have taught them the names of the drugs anyway. Okay, come back. Yes, so they are illegal drugs like no narcotics, cannabis, opioids, cocaine. You have said all these, okay? They are illegal drugs. But one thing what I want to tell you is just because they are legal or illegal, it doesn't make any difference when it comes to addiction. Even legal drugs can make you addicted. Alcohol, there are, I think, more number of alcohol addicts than any other drug dependence. Also, like tobacco addiction is also as severe and serious as heroin addiction. Okay, you cannot come out of that once you are addicted to tobacco or nicotine. It is very difficult to come out of that. It is not at all. It's just like any other drug. So some of them are legal, some of them are illegal. Whether legal or illegal, ultimately it is your choice. Like no, it is you can get addicted to that. So we will speak about how a person can get into addiction a little bit later, and then you will understand. Okay. Now one more thing. I just want to again stop sharing here and then ask you one more question. Now everybody knows that drugs are harmful. People know that it can make you addicted. They know that no, like once you get into that, you will lose all your money and you will have to steal money to buy that. So many problems like. But in spite of all these problems, still people continue to take drugs. What could be the reason? What do you think? Why people take drugs? It's a simple question. I need so many answers. Okay. Use your chat box, huh? Everybody to stay alive. What are you making now? Okay. Yeah. Stop typing. Start typing. Where are they gone? All previous questions answers are coming. Why people take drugs? Tell me. Or you can speak also. Ratish or no, like what? I forgot your names. Huh? Okay, coming. The first thing is stress. Okay. Okay. Get out of frustration, to get out of problems, and then um, yeah. Chemical imbalance in body, dependency, stress. Yeah. One angel saying it is for pleasure. He has been telling it from the beginning, huh? The pleasant. Okay, good. What else? That's all reasons, huh? No reasons at all, huh? Frustration. Okay. Oh my God. Unable to face failure. Love failure. What failure is that? Pallavi, because they're finding temporary happiness in that. Okay, some sort of a pleasure, happiness. Many people just want to try it out. Curiosity, very important reason. Just want to try once because the Cheryl is conducting a class about drugs, and let me just try once and see what it is like. No, so that curiosity is there. Okay, you have already told about the peer pressure in the earlier chat because friends are no compelling you, so you want to take it. Some people take drugs to ease themselves from depression and frustration and all. Some for pleasure, want to forget their problems and anxiety. Some want to repeated use habit. No, it becomes a habit for them, so they want to continue in that. And Singh says Peer pressure is an important factor. Fine. Anything else? No reasons? I've been working in this field for almost 30 years. I ask people, no, why did you start taking drugs or alcohol? Ayo, they tell you 100 reasons, not one or two. Hundreds of reasons are there. Okay, addiction, very good. That is another very important thing. Initially, people get into it for temporary things like maybe for pleasure or maybe to forget their worries or because of the curiosity or because of the peer pressure. But ultimately, they continue in that because of the addiction. Very nice, very good. Uh, yes, okay. Okay, so if I give you more time, I'm sure you will give me more answers also because everyone has a reason, definitely, no, to start taking drugs. Without reason, nobody will begin. Okay, sure. Yes, fine. But you have said about curiosity. You have said because friends are doing it, so I just want to also follow them. Peer pressure, you have mentioned. And another very important thing is it is available. It's everywhere. Drugs are everywhere. So why don't I just try it out when I'm stressed out, when I have a problem with my girlfriend or boyfriend? I just want to try like that. And to feel good, to celebrate various occasions, to feel better, to do better. I tell you, my dear friends, many people, 99% of people get into the world of drugs out of these two, three main reasons. One is curiosity. Other one is main reason is to feel better, to get a pleasure out of that. No, something like no to feel better than what you are now. Maybe now you are a little bit not happy, so let me feel little better with this. So for positive reasons, I tell you, 99% of people get into drugs for positive reasons because they think drugs gives them some sort of an answer to their problem. Some way it will help them to relieve of their pain or their losses or their grief or their anxiety or depression or whatever thing. So that is the reason. And then, of course, curiosity is another very important factor, especially among the young people. I tell you, I've been working with youngsters for a long time. Two things, if I had to put out, three things, if I had to put it in gradation. One is curiosity, other one is no the pleasure part of it, and then peer pressure. That is very important thing. I just want to conform myself to a particular group. I have to accept the common culture of that group. If I don't accept the common culture, I cannot be part of that group. So I have to adjust myself to that. So if they insist on this, I have to take it. Like no, then only I can belong to them. I don't want to lose my friends. So that kind of things also play a very important role. Peer pressure and peer conformity. Like I just want to be part of this group, so I have to follow this thing. Every Saturday I have to go with them for a drink, or every weekend I have to go somewhere and then enjoy cannabis or things. So that kind of things, like this is how people get into it. Once they get into it, and once they continue in that, I told you about the use, abuse, and addiction stage, isn't it? So keep that. Like initially, they are all the reasons, but after some time, it becomes a compulsion for us. Like no, I will give you more clarity about that. Once they are into compulsion, whether it gives them pleasure or not, I don't think. Like not towards the end of the stage, a person do not get any pleasure out of that. Only thing to come out of their withdrawals, just because they are addicted to it, they have to continue to take that very miserable state. Initially you see a lot of dramas, singing, dancing and all, but after some time, look at a cannabis user. Even you think cannabis is a very what is that not a problematic drug. You can stop at any time. It doesn't have any withdrawal symptom, things like that. A lot of people must have given you that kind of positive image, but I tell you, look at a cannabis user. After some time, he would be so lethargic, so dull, so psychotic sort of a mind, won't relate to people, if cut off from everybody. So don't think that certain drugs are okay and certain drugs are not okay. Nothing like, everything can lead you to gradation like. Okay, now I just want to give you one or two slides, a little bit of understanding about various types of drugs. Don't worry about these are all today. I don't know give you so much of pressure out of it. There are 4 different categories. One is stimulant category, which stimulates our central nervous system. Okay, uh, something like which gives us some pleasure, some stimulation. For example, tobacco is a stimulant. So when you take stimulant, tobacco, you feel okay, happy. Otherwise, you are so lethargic. So cocaine is also another sort of a stimulant drug, very commonly used stimulant drug. So when you take, you get stimulated. You are able to like concentrate more. You are able to run fast. Some of the drugs which sort of athletes and all use, no athletics, they use stimulants, so they are able to run faster. They get more energy. So that's why they are caught up with always stimulant drugs. Good. Some of you have already mentioned that. Then there are another category called depressant category. Can you give some examples of depressant drugs? Is alcohol is a depressant or a stimulant? What do you think? Alcohol is a depressant or a stimulant drug?
It is a depressant, sir.
It is a depressant. Oh, Henry is you?
Yes, sir.
Joe Henry? Oh, you know a lot of
Yes,
things
sir.
about
No, actually, I talked about drugs and inhabilitation, sir, before.
So you have some idea. Okay, good, good, good. So what happens is very often we misunderstand alcohol as a stimulant drug, because we see when people take alcohol, they are very jovial, they sing, they dance, they speak loud, speak. Sometimes they become violent, but they become stimulated sort of thing. Like a person who is simplicity, suddenly when he takes alcohol, he start acting very funny. So we misunderstand that. But actually, what happened is it is a depressant drug. It depresses the central nervous system. You know what is CNS? Central nervous system is what? Our brain and the central nervous system, no, the nervous system. So the both the things together, like whatever communication to the entire body, it goes through the nervous system. Like now, our the whole body is connected with that. So that is actually central nervous system. Okay, fine. And then we have opioids. Okay, the pain killing affected drugs. I told you about the Afghanistan experience coming from poppy, opium. From opium we make morphine. From morphine we make heroin. From heroin we mix with so many things, and then we make brown sugar. All these categories of drugs, actually they are pain relieving drugs. That also depresses. In fact, that also decreases the activity of the central nervous system, but it behaves in a slightly different way. So in alcohol, what happened is it takes away our innovation, inhibitions, no? So we start acting funny, like, no? That's why it looks like that. But that also decreases the central nervous system. And then, we would come back to that. So like that, okay? So that is how. And then we have got, what else? Hallucinogens. Can you give some examples of hallucinogens? Some of you were saying no. MDMA is a hallucinogen. If I ask you what is the full form of MDMA, even I won't be able to tell you. Sorry, so don't ask me also. But it is a mixture of both stimulant and hallucinogen sort of thing like. So both the
So
things put
magic
together.
mushrooms.
Yeah.
Magic mushrooms.
Magic mushrooms is another. Yeah, that is also ecstasy. No, they are all part of that particular category, hallucinogens. MDMA is a synthetic form of, they mix stimulant and hallucinogen drugs together. So it gives some sort of a stimulant activity within you, and then it also pervert your vision. No, it hallucinates, like we are able to see things in a different way. So mostly it is also called party drugs. Okay, mostly people use those kinds of things in the rave parties and all like that. Yeah, and cocaine is a stimulant. Okay, LSD is of course a hallucinogen drug. Okay, so and then we have medicinal drugs, which has different categories. Cannabis and keta and things like that. They don't become part of these 4 categories. they are called other drugs because sometimes they act like a stimulant drug, sometimes depressant drug. They don't have a proper identity at all, and so they put it in the other category of drugs. Okay, so don't feel too much of things I'm giving you, but it is something which it is good that you know about that. Stimulant category drugs, cocaine is a stimulant, amphetamine, that is what actually the sports people and all using like the stimulant drugs, amphetamines and methamphetamine and things like that. Nicotine, coffee, caffeine, no, very common stimulant category drugs. Opioids, it is also called narcotics, okay? Heroin, morphine, opium, demerol and all. Depressant, alcohol is the number one depressant, benzodiazepines and things like Rohin Paul. Uh, there are no drugs like which are coming under depressant category. Hallucinogen we have discussed LSD, ecstasy, MDMA, mushrooms and things like that. Muscalate peanut. Okay, so let us not get into that. Now let me ask you another question. We have time now. Okay. Okay. We'll finish it on time. Okay. What are the priority? What are your priorities as students? You have to study. You have to do exercises. You have to do. You have to have good relationship. Good friendship should be there. What else? You have to be part of your family. Uh, you have to study well. All these are your priorities, isn't it? So when all these priorities, normally I have seen many drug users, like they were number one in the class, they were very smart children, very good at everything. And then suddenly somebody offers that to them out of curiosity, they take it. And then slowly that changes happens in them, very, very acute changes. Their priorities are getting lost. They are no more attending class, a lot of absenteeism happening. They get in clash with others, their relationship get broken, lot of changes happens like that. So that is how the addiction also, if I have to just put it with a three small slides in a simple way for you to understand. The first slide you will see actually like the the substances a little bit it is entering into your priorities, like you have school, you have friends, you have family, exercises, sports, work, food, family, films, movies, friends, girlfriend, boyfriend, everything. But when you start your substance use, suddenly that enters into our priority area, no, our our brain, no, our system, the whole thing, and then it makes a small entry there. So we are comfortable, things are okay, I am still able to relate to my friends, still I am not bad in my class, still I love my parents, I go to home on time, I speak to my parents and all, things are quite okay. But what happened after some time, we have more and more substances coming into my system, means less and less priorities, like no, so it is happening like that. The more substance coming into our system, more priorities also go away. Our maybe our interest in studies will decrease, our sports thing will decrease, and like our family, sometimes I reach home late, I don't speak to my parents, like that. So all these kinds of things can happen because we see there are earlier only two places there are substance, now there are four places. What happened in the third stage? You look at this picture, you have no other priorities in your life, nothing else, only this, only this, like no, so don't touch there. Okay, so we have only substances. That's what you need to understand. This is how addiction progresses from a simple stage of substance, a little bit you started taking, after some time it was growing, and then ultimately you are fully caught up with that. Once you are into this stage, you cannot think about your friends, you cannot think about uh, your your parents, your class, or nothing. So that is how no actually the system takes place, the addiction progress, like no, in the simple way, if I have to tell you. Did you understand that graphics? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now, if I have to just give you some, like, no, we divide your progress, your journey into addiction into four different stages. The first stage, of course, out of curiosity, your friends offer something in a birthday party or something, just experimental use or recreational use. Only when there is something like that. So you take alcohol, for example, maybe a glass of beer or anything like that, and then it may like that, no problem. So like that, it can, that is how the starting stage, like, no, the first is always experimental stage. So when I can give you this little more clarity with alcohol, because that is something which is all around us, it, you will understand things also better. Experimental stage, and then they slowly get into circumstantial or occasional use, like whenever there is a party, or whenever Christmas comes, or whenever New Year comes, or whenever there is some friends come with some big stuff, I take, no, occasionally. Like some days that occasions also uh, keep growing. Like earlier, I had only 4 5 occasions in a year, but every weekend is an occasion now also. So it can happen like that, no, in the process. And in the third stage, it is almost regular use or intensified use. So we started as an experimental stage, slowly moved into occasional use, and then I have come to more or less regular use. Even then, I feel quite okay. Things are not totally broken down. So, but there is some sort of a regularity in the use. And in the fourth stage, you understand there is a compulsive or addictive use, like whether there is an occasion or not, whether there is a party or not, whether you have money or not, whatever it is, you need to take this particular substance, alcohol or drugs, whatever it is, which have become very compulsive, because that is called addictive use. And by that time, you will also lose all your pleasure out of that. You will not enjoy it. Only reason you would be continuing to take is because you cannot bear with your withdrawal symptoms. You know what is withdrawal, no? The reactions when the body is not having enough of quantity within your system, the body react. No, like it gives, you cannot sleep, your hands will be shivering and things like that. So this is how it progresses. So addiction is always defined as a progressive disease from 1 to 100. No, it grows like that. It never go back, like, no, it progresses each day. Now just look at a simple definition of addiction. It is like addiction is a chronic. Sorry, addiction is a chronic relapsing brain disease that is characterized by compulsive substance seeking, or sorry, things are moving without my permission. Okay, so it's fine. It's fine. So what you need to understand from that is only these two, three things. One is it is a chronic disease, means once you get it, it is a full time. No, like you cannot say that you take some tablets, you will be out of that. It will be a permanent sort of a disease. Once you get the addiction, everyone to take alcohol or drugs may not get addicted, but most of them can come to that stage also. Once it is, once you say that you are addicted to that, it becomes a chronic and relapsing brain disease. Relapsing means even if you take treatment and even if you decide to stay away from that, still sometimes it can recur. So you can go back to it also, because it is actually a disease of your brain which has been so much infested by this addiction, so it can relapse also, and it is called brain disease. That's why, like we call addiction as a mental health issue also. And then towards the end, you see that there's a compulsion to use it in spite of the bad consequences. In spite of you're failing in your exam, you're failing in your relationship, you have been given warning from your principal, you have been taken to a rehab center, all these things have happened, but still there is a compulsion for you to use it. That is why we call it addiction. Okay. So once you are addicted, it is like, no, you are inside, you are trapped, like, no, it is very difficult to come out of that. So that is how. Now I just give you a very simple description of how actually, addiction progresses for alcohol, for example. So if it is alcohol, in the early stages, you experience something called increased tolerance. Okay, increased tolerance is you need higher and higher quantities of the substance to get the same kick level, same high, whatever the level. Initially, when you started taking alcohol, for example, this is about alcohol symptom, no? It is easy for you to understand. It was enough to have one glass of beer to get the high kick, like no any elders, like one glass beer, I'm fully off. After some time, you realize that one glass actually doesn't take me to anywhere. I need two glasses of beer to get the same level. Or after some time, two bottles. Or then you may shift from beer to whiskey or brandy or rum or anything like that. No, the hard liquor. So that particular sign is called increased tolerance. So this is one particular symptom many young people misunderstand. Not only young people, even old people also misunderstand that. I have heard and seen many people saying, I have better capacity now. Earlier, no, one glass of beer I drink, I used to vomit or I fall down, I walk in four legs. But now, see, I'm able to take two bottles of beer, still I'm able to go in two legs. So all these kinds of things are mythologies, okay? Myths actually, misunderstanding. So increased tolerance is actually a sign that a person is moving towards addiction. If any of you feel you can take more quantities of alcohol and still you feel normal, then you have to write it in your diary that you have passed the first stage of your addiction. You have to be very careful. That's why I'm telling you. And blackout. Early stage is very important, like for you to understand. Sometimes we drink so much of alcohol and then somehow reach home or reach my hostel. I don't know how I reached hostel. I don't know whether I paid money. I don't know where did I keep my purse, how I came driving. Everything will be forgotten. So that is called blackout. This is also one sign of the alcohol use in the early stages. People develop that blackout thing. And preoccupation with drinking. Every weekend, if you're drinking, you wait for the weekend, look for Saturdays, and look for friends who will give you company like that, things like that. And then if anybody tell you, oh man, you are drinking too much and you are not concentrating on studies or something, you don't want to get into that discussion. You just avoid from that, you escape from that. So these are some of the signs we see in the early stages. In the middle stages, when we come, main problem is loss of control. So I go to a sort of a bar or a wine shop thinking, yeah, I just have only 90 ml and I come back. I quickly go inside, I take 90 ml and suddenly I lose control. Like, no, I want more. 90 becomes sometimes quarter and again I might even continue to take also. No, that is called loss of control. So for example, a traffic driver, a driver loses control, what happened? He will go and hit somebody on the way, on the road, like that. No, so not only he will get with accident, his other people who are working on the road also will get accident, get hit by you. So similarly, when you have alcohol control, I mean, being lost, it will also create a lot of problems in your family. Your family problems will increase, your money problem will increase, your relationship will totally spoil. If you have a job, you may get issues from from your employment. So all these things. But with all these things, what you will do, you will start giving excuses. Oh my God, my work is like this. I'm working till 9 o'clock night, and I need to have one drink. Otherwise, I won't like, or I'm doing such a bad job, so I have to. So they will be giving excuses. You must have seen people giving a lot of grandiosity, like or sometimes aggressive behavior. They fight with, they become violent. So, and sometimes they used to show you, I can stop by myself. I stay away from alcohol for some time and will show you. Maybe especially people going to Shabarimala, or now it is a Lenten season for Catholics or Christians. So during this time, a lot of people stop drinking. And with that, they give the message, see, I'm able to stop it. So what is there? Like, don't complain again, like, no, I have no capacity at all. So like that. So sometimes they abstain from that, and sometimes they change the drinking pattern and that kind of thing. In the chronic stage, The problem is they will start from the morning onwards, morning drink. They have the binge drinking, like continuous drinking. No, they in that, and then when they cannot get up, they stop it for some time because they cannot. If they drink, they die. So it comes to that. There are a lot of withdrawal issues. They cannot get sleep without drinks. They cannot. Their hands will be shivering. The ethical breakdown is a very important problem. They will be starting to take the whatever money which you have at home. Sometimes they will take even the the tali from the wife and sell it and drink. And they sell everything what you have in your house. They may sell and drink things like that. So there is a ethical breakdown. It's a physical and mental deterioration, and there are also co-occurring disorders happening. Psychoactive substances. I just want to only give you one slide. Like all these substances what we have spoken till now are called psychoactive substances, which affects our brain, which affects our mood, thoughts, and sensory perceptions and behavior. Our thinking changes, our feelings changes, our action changes. So because it happens from the brain, this is actually the central nervous system, the brain and the spinal cord, no, or the nervous system, like the communications are sent to different things. These are all little science. You don't need to worry about. So that's why it is called a brain disease. Okay, substances, they make some changes in the structure of your brain on how it works normally. So the brain has got various functions, as you know. Some area has vision, and some about memory, some pain, coordination, judgment, movement, sensation, etc. So when you take drugs, it affects the brain. When it affects the brain, it affects various functions of the brain. And then your coordination will be lost, your judgment will be lost. That's why we have a lot of accidents happening, no? Drunken driving. So your vision is affected. You cannot see. Sometimes you see one bike coming, you see it as two bikes, or sometimes a lorry coming, you think that two bikes are coming. You may go through the middle of the road also, things like that. So all these are part of the brain issue. So there is something called reward circuit, the limbic system. That is what which play the addiction, they stimulate the use of that particular substance again and again in your system. That is all happening in the brain. That's why it is called a brain disease. Now, co-occurring disorders are also very common. Almost 43% of the people with SUD also have got issues with mental health issues, mental disorders like depression, anxiety, and things like that. Also, similarly, a person with SUD also have possibility of having a mental disorder, and vice versa also. Okay, so almost 50% of the people with SUD has a mental problem. That's why you say like people he was very nice, and now after so much of taking this, he's totally become mad. You say no. So it can be because of the co-occurring mental disorders induced by the substance, or it can be co-occurring also. Okay, so I don't want to say more about that, but have a understanding that there is a connection between addiction and mental health issues. Even marijuana, I want to tell you, the cannabis, what you think that it has to be legalized, and or some of you are saying no. So which can also take you to acute psychotic behaviors. So that disorders are possible. Psychosis is possible for them. And another thing is they will graduate into other harder drugs. Like for example, when you started taking alcohol, what happens? Start with wine or beer, but you don't remain there. No, you graduate into whiskey and rum and things like that. No, like that. So people, marijuana people also, it's like a gateway drug. Like they don't remain there. That's why it is called a danger drug. Don't think that it is okay to have it. You won't remain there. That is why you take it, and you will definitely go into other things also. Ecstasy can also lead to mood disorders, and alcohol, as you know, it can lead to all depression and things like that. Okay, this is one important thing which you have to keep in mind. Nobody, no one have started taking drugs anytime thinking that they will get addicted. They are every time they were 100% sure. I just want to try it out, and that trying it out have ultimately taken them to addiction. I tell you, alcohol or tobacco may take more time for you to get addicted, but certain drugs like cannabis or not cannabis, opium products like no heroin or brown sugar or cocaine or no MDMA and that kind of things can keep you or make you to addiction level within no time. Sometimes the first dose itself will create a craving for the second dose. That is why sometimes they give the first dose free. When you get it free, then you get addicted and then you will have to buy it. So that is how it goes. Okay. So in the school or college campuses, different things we can plan out, like the prevention program, like when your sir, your vice principal, when she was speaking, the first thing what he said was prevention is better than cure. I tell you, in addiction scenario, prevention works, and prevention is the only thing which actually works. Once you are totally addicted to something, I tell you, a latest sort of a data, not even 20% of the people with addiction will come for treatment with all the systems we have. Out of that 20% who come for treatment, only 20% of them might recover. Means hardly 4 or 5% out of 100 will recover. So once you are into it, you are trapped. It's not very easy, but it needs more time. It may relapse and like to come back to it, it takes a lot of energy is needed. So prevention works, and prevention is the best thing, and early intervention. So before it graduate from the early stages to the second stage, you need to do something. That's where we can also get in to help you. Like now with Cheryl, we can plan. If anybody have got any related anxiety related, any issues related to drugs, try to do the intervention now itself. Counseling, of course, Cheryl is there. We have also a team of counselors. We can help you, and then form anti-addiction cell in your campus. Like that is what I did 30 years back when I was studying. We started with anti-addiction action group, which is like peer pressure. Like if negative peer pressure is responsible to take a person to addiction, use positive peer pressure to bring him back. So not all people, your teachers will know about what is happening among you, but you will be knowing what is happening. So you will be able to act as peer educators, peer counselors, to reach out to others. So that's why if you have a cell in your college, that cell can be trained. They can be the nodal agencies to organize awareness programs or survey or whatever thing. Think about that if it is possible. Then ongoing psychoeducation we can offer you. This is something which you can work out. What if in case you need to have a cell, what all things you can do? No, it is left to you. So I just want to stop here and give it to Remya to introduce our institute and also what is arcotherapy like. No, I just want her to give you some idea about how we can work with people with addiction or with substance use disorder at whichever stages. We would prefer to catch people and work with them when they are in the early stages, because once they go into second and third stage, it is very, very difficult to do anything about them. EcoLink Institute, we are engaged in two activities. One is training. We are training addiction professionals. Your madam Cheryl also is one of our students. She is also doing that course. It is an internationally recognized syllabus ending with a licensing program. Get an international license also to practice as an addiction counselor. So that kind of things are happening. It is approved all over the world. And then we have arcotherapy. So I just stop here and then introduce Remya Madam. Remya is the president of our alumni association, and she is the key director or the president of Arco Therapy also. So over to Remya. Remya is from Hyderabad, and we have also Jodi here, another the key person in our Arco Therapy group, and we have a few people actually they are just joined from the uh, YouTube channel. So over to Ramya, please. Ramya, you have 10 minutes and then we
Yeah.
will wind up exactly at 12:30.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Very, very excited to be here to address thousands of students who are watching this. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm a student of Ecolink Institute, and And as part of the institute, we created the Alumni Association, which is an association of professionals from across the globe. About 18 countries have participants who have completed their UTC training and certification from Ecolink Institute. And we all have created this association called the Ecolink Alumni Association. And one of our first achievements is to create this ARCO, which is Addiction Recovery Coach Online, as part of the Institute and the alumni's collaborative effort. So this is my job is to introduce ARCO to you. So ARCO is Addiction Recovery Coach Online. It's an online therapy platform for offering therapeutic assistance to anyone who's suffering from substance abuse or substance use disorders. So we also have a platform for prevention programs. So our primary goal, or our one of our top objectives, is to ensure that we are able to reach out to those who are affected by substance use and who are suffering from disorders, and to provide them an online platform, especially because as a result of the pandemic, people have had limited access to treatment and limited access to recovery support, perhaps. So there's a growing demand for professional and confidential services in the field, and this is what we offer. We offer professional and confidential services online through our ARCO website. So we have a number of programs in this, and part of the programs are treatment oriented and part of the programs are prevention oriented. So I will just briefly tell you what these programs are. We have something called as a primary therapeutic program. This is our primary treatment offering. Then we have recovery coaching for people who are on the path of recovery, who have recovered from substance dependence and are on the path of recovery. So recovery is a lifelong process, and we recognize that these are individuals who need support so that they don't fall back on depending on the substance that they used to abuse. Then we have something called as women in recovery. We see that a number of women are not even able to come forward and access treatment or recovery because of the higher amounts of social stigma. Because somehow in our society, it is not so surprising if the male population are addicted or are dependent on substances. But for women, there's a lot more stigma and there's a lot more inhibition to come forward, seek help, or for others to come forward and help them to seek help. So this is why we have this program called Women in Recovery. Then we have something called as SUD therapy for our overseas clients. Since we are a group of international professionals, we have opened our services to people across the world. Then our most important work is in prevention. So we have something called as school-based prevention and early intervention, and we have workplace prevention and early intervention. So these are our efforts to create awareness, to offer platforms, to talk about prevention, and especially among population like yours, students, the youth of the country, that is so significant in addressing this issue. So you are the future of the country, and you are the people who will make a significant impact in arresting this problem by collaborating with professionals like us. So with that, I think I have shared most of what I intended to share, and anything else I think Thomas sir will add in. So I hope.
Jyoti, you would like to say something? Jyoti, thank you, Ramya, for introducing arcotherapy. Jyoti is from Himachal Pradesh. I forgot the name of the city, but anyway, she is in charge of the workplace prevention and early intervention. Jyoti, you like to say a word of something to your children?
Thank you, Thomas, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. And it is such a pleasure to address such a wonderful group of aspirants who can really uh, come ahead and contribute to this particular cause, uh, build a healthy young nation. Because we are the nation, the second biggest youth, in the world. So when it comes to population size, as well as how we can change the world, and since we know that this particular problem is affecting and having inroads into our society so badly, I think we should stand together and seek answers to this particular problem in a collaborative way. So, as Sir has mentioned, and as Ramya has mentioned, you are the owners, you are the people who are going to come ahead with the answers, and we can collaborate with you. We can professionalize you, and we can all build a team together to answer this chaos which is happening, and we are all seeing this happening in front of us. Thank you so much. Thanks for attending.
Thank you, Jyoti. Cheryl, they can ask some questions. There are a few minutes.
Yes. Henry, Hepzibah, Angel, Rakshit, you have any
Oh,
questions? You can have a small discussion with sir. You are the youth of the country. Please go
representing
ahead.
your entire campus. Okay. Yeah. Any questions?
Sir, there is a question here posed by a
Ah.
student, and the question is
Oh, how do we know if somebody is
yes,
addicted? Correct, no?
addicted. Yes.
Okay, okay. Yeah. It depends upon what substance and what stages also. Like, no, if a person in the early stages, I have shown you, that priority list I have shown you, like three different things. Initially, it is very difficult to really, understand if somebody is into it, because they will be acting very normal with anybody else. Alcohol means at least you can smell. These days, drugs, there is no smell also. So maybe, we may not be able to recognize them at the early stages. But once they come to the second stage, definitely, their priorities changes. No, they no longer take care of their, how they look, their dressing, or they are not to shave or things like that. So the changes, some changes will start occurring into them. Their absenteeism will be more. If they go to a bathroom, sometimes they stay there for a long time. They don't come out of that. Because like maybe they are using them. They will cut off from friends. Earlier, they are very active with everybody. They are smiling at people. They are playing everything. But those things will come down. That's the same way I have shown you. Priority is coming down. Studies will come down. Their relationship with the friends will come down. So like that, some of them will become also aggressive also. No? So that is how. And then once they're fully addicted, there will be presence of withdrawal symptoms. Like no, the body will start reacting. So they won't get sleep at all, or their hands will be shivering, and there will be a running nose and no red eyes and things like that. With that, you can understand the person is actually having problem with them. Okay. How will you get to know, sir, what to get? That's the same thing which I have answered. No? Any other questions?
So how
Genetics,
can
yeah, very important uh, aspect like Henry is bringing out. So genetic factor play a very important role in the addiction scenario. Like no, so some people they get the other day, just 2 days back, I had a call from a mother. The child is only 20 years, but he says he's totally addicted to alcohol. I couldn't even believe that. No, we think that people they take long time for them to get addicted to alcohol. But when I inquired a little more with her, her mother only called me. Then he said his father is also fully into that, totally addicted. And father's father also was addicted. And this boy grew up with all these things, environmental reason and genetic reason. I tell you now, almost, if you know, Ramya, more than 60% they credit to genetic factors. And then only other things, no? the environmental factors. It's very predominant aspect, genetic factors. Okay. Any other questions? And environmental factors, no, like that. The environment and the genetic factors put together. Some people, they can drink the entire lifetime, no problem, no? They take whatever that dose. They don't experience the increased tolerance. They don't lose control over that. They will be drinking. And they are lucky people, we would say. Some people are unlucky, no? They cannot drink like that. They become addicted to that. So that is why we are concerned. We don't know who will come to that and who will not. Genetic factor, of course, we know, but some people they get addicted very fast also. Yes, next question, Cheryl. Somebody was asking something.
Yes, Elsa, do you want to ask any question?
Elsa, you want to write? You can write or ask.
Sir, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Sir, what should we do if a person is on drugs?
What should we do if we
Is on drugs. If a person is on drugs.
want to help a person to come out, get out? I mean, help him to come out. Huh? That's what you are asking.
No, sir. A person
Ah.
is on drugs and is hallucinating. How can we help them?
If a person is found to be hallucinating, of course, yeah. Okay. Of course, hallucinogens mostly know that hallucinogen drugs. So if a person is getting hallucinated, what is important is to get him a medical help immediately. So medically we can, I mean, that particular moment suddenly, we may not be able to do anything else. So if they are hallucinating, so it is better that we seek a medical help immediately. Like, they can, for any substance, there is also counter substance with that they can bring them back to the normalcy also. Drugs are there. Prescribed drugs can also help a person to get out of a particular crisis situation. And similar is the same case with overdose also. What happened is that these people, when they get into drugs, they are not educated about how to take, how much to take, which way to take, nothing. So when they have more money, they take more. When they have less money, they take less. And that's why even in United States, if you Google and see, millions of people die with overdose alone. Overdose, like no. So they take so much and they don't know what to do, like, and then they die fast. So that kind of situations, if we come across, definitely, immediately we need to seek the medical help. We have to take them to the hospital. They have to do, like withdrawal sometimes, eye withdrawal. That sometimes they're very violent. We don't know what to do with, sometimes in alcohol users. So, but immediate help is always like that only is possible. Our counseling may not work. Anything else also won't work in that particular crisis situation. That is a crisis time. Okay. Any other questions? Jody and Ramya also can answer, no, if anything is keep the person safe in a ventilated place, and that kind of immediate crisis management principle we have to use immediately if we have to help a person. Keep the person safe in a well ventilated place till the help arrives. So you don't allow him to roam around. Keep him at peace. Okay. So it is 12:30 plus. It's time for your lunch. But I tell you, if you have further questions, we are not running away from here. That's why Cheryl is with us also, and we are with you anytime. Anytime you have a doubt, anytime you want to consult any of us, we have around, at least 30, 40 counselors who are trained in school youth counseling with us. You just contact us through Cheryl. You contact her. We would be able to really help you, give you clarification to any doubts and things like that. If you don't have any problem also, absolutely no issue. You can still contact us. Okay, Ramya now, Jyoti now. We have a big team. So feel free to continue to ask us questions. We will be there to answer you. So Cheryl knows my WhatsApp number, my email ID, everything. So you are free, and we can even share whatever my PowerPoint with you, Cheryl. You can share it with them also, no issue. Okay, so I end here.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yesterday, sir wanted a live interaction session with the students. I was like, wow, and he is an awesome teacher. That is what I would say. I would like to thank Ms. Jyoti and Ms. Ramya for joining us during this session. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you both. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Doctor, I'm thankful for your part in the event. I hope our
Yeah.
students have received. Yes, sir.
Thank
I
you
hope
for
our
beautiful participation. It was
thank you,
nice. A
sir.
lot of things were coming. You have to keep it saved. Maybe, like,
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, you will get everything because it is live. So keep that with you. And, which shows that
Certainly.
there's stuff are
We'll
there.
do that, sir.
Thank you for the good
Yes.
participation. Thank
Yes,
you
sir.
all. See you
I,
again some other occasion.
sir, just
Thank
stay
you.
back. Let me thank you. Uh,
Okay.
I hope our students have received learning from today's webinar. Sir, thank you for your professionalism and for being an amazing teacher. In other words, I would say you are no, so simple that simplicity is at its best. I appreciate your time and appreciate you for taking all the trouble to keep our students glued to their seats. Thank you for sharing your expertise, and we are looking forward to hearing you speak again, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you much.
Sign off. Thank you, everybody.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you,
Bye.
sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
I am sincerely grateful to our management and the administrators. I thank our ED sir for encouraging us in organizing educational webinars. I thank our principal sir for being enterprising and supporting us in gaining expertise in our fields of study. I thank our vice principal sir for being industrious and helping us become competent. I thank all our HODs for making this event possible. I thank the technical team and the creative team for all the efforts put in. I thank all my colleagues, students, and the attendees for making this event a memorable one. Thank you all. Thank you, one and all. Signing off, Cheryl Albert Anthony. Thank you.
We welcome you to the beautiful campus of East Point. We at East Point Group of Institutions offer limitless opportunities, imparting quality technical education and helping students to develop precocious aptitude and equip necessary skills for a successful professional career. Our training and placement cell guide and encourage students through every step until placed in reputed companies. East Point Group of Institutions, building skills from the last 3 decades.